This is Radar from the Radar Entertainment Blog coming to another edition of MLB Observations of this year's 2023 season, Week 4. So I will get to the White Sox towards the end. Let's quickly get through the Rays. Yanni Diaz is the only guy in the lineup that has real pop outside of Randy Arozarena. So batting him leadoff, so wait. They've been batting Maikel Franco, which I wrote twice, but I meant to say Brandon Lau batting fourth and him batting fourth, when both of them are probably best suited to be at the top. Maybe put Wander Franco 5 or 6, but those guys are not really screaming leadoff hitter. So the mention second is fine for them. Wait thing a DH spot on Harold Ramirez, and then Lau and Rayleigh batting in the 5th, 6th spots. That's what happens when you don't have enough real offensive power slots. Like they like to do the platoon guys splitting time. That's cool. Rayleigh pitched in a blowout. Randall Margot actually plays some center field. That's his natural position. Jalen Beeks pitching on a bullpen when he's a starter. The Dodgers. This whole Mookie Betts getting a starter shortstop or coming in to play shortstop or starting at second base. Literally, if you don't want to play him in right field, play him in center field because you have Jason Hayward, who's one of the greatest defensive right fielders in the last decade, on your roster. It's simple, okay? But what's the point of having Chris Taylor and this Bush guy they called up and Rojas, I know he's hurt, but this Vargas guy, if none of them are going to be able to play second base and shortstop, and it just makes no sense there to play Mookie Betts there. Again, I have a problem leading off because if Freddie Freeman's batting second, then this Vargas guy is batting 5th, and Outman's batting cleanup, and then Muncy batting second one day was really dumb, and Freddie Freeman batting second is dumb when he's been mostly a middle-of-the-order hitter. And David Peralta, you got this guy to be your 6th or 7th hitter. Batting him 8th is a little bit too low. And then Chris Taylor actually one time played shortstop. This Luke Williams utility guy that they have, they could play this dude as shortstop, second base. He pitched in a blowout. Vargas, I'm glad he's playing, but playing him at first base is dumb when you could throw Max Muncy at first base if you really needed to for someone to do that. Again, him batting 5th is silly. Hayward, I'm glad they're playing him, but he's not even a great offensive player that I'm going to bat him 3rd at this point in his career or ask him to play center field. And again, don't ask the guy to play first base. If you're not playing Freddie Freeman at first base, you play a real, actual utility guy who doesn't matter what he's doing or Muncy at first base. Cubs, their third-string catcher, Luis Torrens, is not a left fielder or a DH. He shouldn't even be on a major league roster. Bellinger batting 3rd is way too high. Madrigal playing 3rd base, there's no other place to play him. But if you give Votto or Nico Horner a day off, that's who I would play. I do like when Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, and Seiya Suzuki are batting 1 through 4. That is the most sense they do. And Wisdom, again, is a first baseman playing the outfield and 3rd base. So the Cubs don't really have a backup outfielder, and they refuse to play Edwin Rios to 3rd base. Reds. Fraley is a good defensive outfielder, but not a 4-5 hitter or DH. Steer is one of your power hitters. Why is he batting second? Fairchild can field, but he hasn't hit in the major league, so he's not a 3-hitter. And Stevenson's a nice catcher, but he's not a cleanup hitter or a DH. They also lost a DH with maneuvering. Kevin Newman's a contact hitter, not a 6th hitter. DHing Barrero, who's not the world's greatest hitter, or Ramos, who's an extra outfielder they just called up, is a waste of a DH spot. And Senzel's still playing center field when they had literally 4 or 5 center fielders on this roster who are natural-born outfielders, and he got to play some 3rd base, which makes sense. Pirates, there's no business that Key Brian Hayes should be batting leadoff. If he's not batting 3rd, he should be batting 5th or 6th. Connor Joe is, again, not an outfielder to begin with, so this is bad defensively. And Jason Bay, with O'Neal Cruz out for a long time, probably the year, and they don't have a second baseman because they keep maneuvering guys around, that's where you should be playing. Let Sawinski play center field on a regular basis. Reynolds playing left field and batting second is perfect for him. And this Rodolfo Castro, again, is a utility player, not a 5-hitter. O's Adley Rushman, I know he's been on fire, getting on base, drawing walks, driving and run. But if he was your 5th hitter, that would be amazing. Because Frazier and Hayes are not middle-order hitters. They're either top or bottom hitters. Henderson, if he's a shortstop, why is he playing shortstop every day? Hayes batting 1st is cool, but not at the expense of Mullins batting 9th. Urias is a utility man, so he's definitely not a 4th or 5 hitter. And Mateo's never been a 6 hitter. He's always a bottom-middle hitter. And there's no business to play Frazier in the outfield when you literally have McKenna and you have Hayes and you have this Vivera dude and you got obviously Cedric Mullins and Santander. So there's no reason this guy should play in the outfield. Voth is a starting pitcher playing in a bullpen. Tigers, utility man Nick Maton, Riley Green, and Baez 1 through 3. I can get behind that. Some speed contact at the top, and then Baez has a lot of home runs batting 3rd. Carpenter batting cleanup. That dude's not a cleanup hitter. And then I see him playing the outfield. Then I see him playing 3rd base. What is he? Like, he's not great defensively in the outfield. Miguel Cabrera's embarrassment about the future Hall of Famer 7th when this team just stinks. Again, Baez batting 3rd is fine. Doesn't need to be batting 2nd. And then Vierling, when he bats leadoff, I'm like, cool with that. But again, he's not a middle-order hitter. And what is he? An outfielder? He's playing some right field. He plays second base, 3rd base. Is he just another glorified utility man? Dak McKinstry, another utility man like Nick Maton. They're not middle-order hitters. Scope, I have him here I said he's playing second base. That's his position. I might say he should not be playing third base because he's a second baseman. You're paying him all the money. And Haas is not an outfielder. He's a catcher. Rockies. Chris Bryant second. When he bats third, that's much better. You're paying him all this money. I still got the whole him in right field and Profar on left. Just cringy to see two infielders in the outfield. McMahon's back to playing third base. I'm like, finally, it got through them. This is what you should be doing. Diaz, their catchers, would never make anyone's roster as a starter, let alone a backup. Some batting fifth and sixth stupid. They actually played Harold Cash for second base, but then they confound it by playing him sometime in center field. Lamet's a reliever pitching out of bullpen, is a starting pitcher pitching out of bullpen, excuse me. I did like Blackman leading off, because that's what he done most of his career. Profar second, McMahon, Cronin, and Moustakas. That's a good 1 through 5 there. Philly, Stott, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Nicky Castellanos batting 1 through 4. That's good. But what gets me is Brandon Marsh batting fifth when he's never been a great hitter. Where's JT Realmuto and Alec Bohm, excuse me. And they put Alec Bohm second, which is silly. Sosa, usually a utility player. Harrison, utility player. They're not 6 and 7. Here's what happens when you put these guys in the wrong spot. And then Clemens is not a first baseman. Yankee, so Judge will bat second, and you complain about him wearing down and not being healthy. Well, you're like, well, we want to get him more at bats. He can still do that third. You're like, it's one batter difference, but still, it's not. It's a little bit of difference to save him. Then, what's the point of him playing right field some days and some days playing center field if you could just play him every day in right field? Again, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is a catcher, so it's a stretch when he plays shortstop, but if you ask him to play third base or first base, that's not. So asking him to play the outfield, let alone center field's a stretch. If the rookie's going to continue to be the leadoff spot, that takes Judge out of that, that's fine. It also takes DJ LeMahieu out of the leadoff spot, which is fine, but he should be batting second, DJ LeMahieu, not 4, 5, and 6, and then ask him to play first base when you have Anthony Rizzo on your roster. It's just dumb, okay? And then him playing third base when that's what they're doing a lot, that's fine, but he's best suited to play second base. That's where you want a gold glove. Gleyber Torres is also, I've never thought a great offensive him that he's got to bat fourth and fifth. One of the Oswaldos, they have Peraza played some second and third base. That's good. But the other Oswaldo, whatever. The other Oswaldo, because it's Peraza and the other guy. It's just they put him in the outfield. One of the Perazas, and he's not an outfield. He's a shortstop by trade. There's Oswaldo Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera. So they're throwing Cabrera in the outfield. And then it's nice that Frenchie Cordero is playing, and he's not in the minor leagues, and they're not asking to play first base. But right field is stupid when Judge should be playing right field. He should be playing center. But again, not a million-order hitter. And then Aaron Hicks, they play him in center field once or twice. And then go, we'll put him in left field. The dude's only value is that he can play center field. And Willie Calhoun was never a healthy player with Texas, any other team he's been on, and they question his defense. So right field is a little bit of a stretch. Blue Jays, I like Springer playing right field on a full-time basis. But him leading off is silly. Again, he should be middle lineup. I like Bobichette second. He's killing it up there. Varsho, I can't believe this team doesn't have a backup outfielder that can play the outfield, because Varsho, a catcher by trade, should never be playing center field on a team that has Kevin Kiermaier. And Whit Merrifield should not ever be playing the outfield when he should be playing second base. And then Biggio again, an infielder playing the outfield. And Vlad Guerrero is perfectly suited as a 3-4 hitter, not a 2 hitter. Then the Atlanta Braves. I love Acuna in right field full-time the last few years. It saves him being healthy, but again, not a leadoff hitter. He's a perfect middle-of-the-order hitter like Ken Griffey Jr. was. He can do 20, 30 easily in his sleep. Okay, and then Matt Olson's a middle-order hitter with Oakland. There's no need for him to bat second, because what happens is Murphy and Albies are batting fourth and fifth, and then Hilliard and Pilar, who are backup outfielders at this point in both their careers, and Grisham was a rookie, or, still it's his first full season. They're not 5, 6 hitters. If you had Acuna and Freeman fourth and fifth, and then you went third and fourth. Then you went like Riley fifth, and then Ozuna and Rosario sixth and seventh. That would be a better decision. I like the Astros have full-time now move Pena back out of the 7 spot into the 2 spot and put Dubone or Myers or Chapman or whoever in the 1 spot and put Bregman back to being like third or fourth, which is good. He was batting second a little bit, but again, he should be middle of the lineup. Rangers. Robbie Grossman, I'm glad he's playing every day, but I would never put this dude as second. I like that they put Jankowski second. That's good. Simeon batting first is fine, but I'd probably want him batting second and this team maybe third because they need the offense there. Duran playing the outfield, playing shortstop. What is he? And then they lost the days from maneuvering, and then even in the blowout game or whatever it was, they had a reliever come up to bat, which is really dumb with this day and age of 26-man roster. And then Smith, again, I did not know he was shortstop. I thought he was a third baseman. So what is he doing there? Dunning pitching on a bullpen when he's starting pitcher. A's, Nuda's supposed to be a slugger. Why is he batting second? Rooker hasn't proven it yet on any team. So why would he be a 3-hitter? Peterson's not a middle hitter. So is Yanni Diaz Yanni Diaz. Alesmius Diaz. And again, he's a middle infield, not a first baseman. Tyler Wade, I know he's a utility man, but this team has plenty of outfielders. Same thing for Tony Kemp, who should be getting a bat to second base. And Carlos Perez, who's their third string catcher, really, has no business batting fifth. No business batting DH when they got Aguilar, Noda, and Rooker. And he's a catcher. Why are you throwing him in left field? Jace Peterson pitching a blowout, and Shane Langoliers DH when he should be getting out every opportunity to catch. Twins. Kepler and Correa 1 and 2 is dumb when they both should be middle of the lineup. Larnach is not a cleanup hitter on any team. Okay, he should be better at the bottom. Nick Gordon, I'm kind of still not over as a middle infielder. They just keep throwing him in the outfield, but he played some shortstop. And Gallo is a power hitter, not a two-hitter. He can't hit for average or on base at this point. And then throw him in center field. If you're going to throw him in the outfield, you throw him in the corner spot. Okay? And then Correa and Kepler batting third and fourth like one time. Like, that makes sense. Buxton batting leadoff, that's cool, but they keep switching him around. Solano, we've been over, is not a first baseman. He's an infielder. Okay, Willie Castro is also, again, an infielder. They throw him in the outfield, but he played some third base. And Christian Vasquez, your everyday catcher playing first base, is really silly. Washington, Keibert Ruiz, I know he's your franchise catcher, but most catchers aren't two-hitters, and he's not a great power-hitting or offensive catcher that you're going to back this guy like fourth and fifth, okay? And Candelario, again, was one of the league's statistical worst hitters last year, so batting him 2 and 3 is a waste. Garcia, it took him a while to win the second base job at Washington, so why is he batting fourth or fifth? Like Thomas batting first or second, that's fine. Garcia batting second, that's fine. But Chavis, again, is a third baseman, not a second baseman. Brewers, Yelich, Winker, and Adames 1 and 3 is really dumb. The guys are going to drive in runs batting 1 and 2, and the guy who gets on base batting third. Anderson plays a mixture of third base in the outfield. Just keep him at third base. They got enough young outfielders who can play outfield. Brusaru is a first baseman by trade. Stop playing him at third base. Let Anderson play third base, and he's not a leadoff hitter. Adames did bat second once, which was cool, and Owen Mills is a utility guy, not a six-hitter. Red Sox. Verdugo on the leadoff spot is interesting because he has batted second, and he's also batted fifth, sixth, and seventh. But him and Devers 1-2 is silly when they're both, like, I don't know, guys should be batting 3, 4, 5, 6. To waste when Kike Hernandez is your fifth hitter, and you put Reese McGuire 7th. Justin Turner is also, when they don't have Devers batting second, they have another RBI guy batting second, which is dumb. And Refsheider is a utility man. Utility players don't bat third, and he's an infielder by trade, not an outfielder. Royals, this MJ Melendez batting second is interesting, but I would try to bat him like fifth or sixth, which it did. Again, he's a bad defensive outfielder. We don't know how good he's catching. And Massey, who's inexperienced, Isabel, who can't hit, and Olivier, who's a backup. Why are they batting 4 through 6? You have Salvador Perez, Hunter Dozier, Pasatino, Nick Prado, and Famel Reyes, potential RBI home run guy. That's like just dumb. And then Lopez, again, is best suited to play shortstop, but he's not going to do that with. So you play him at second base. He doesn't have the best defensive value at third base because he's not going to hit for much. JBJ playing left field and right field when he should be your if you're going to rotate between like 5 different outfielders, at least let the guy who's won a Gold Glove play center field. Yarborough pitching out of bullpen when he's a starting pitcher, and he did that once. Dozier, again, if he's not playing third base, and he's not playing first base, and he's not DHing, do not put him in the outfield. You got plenty of outfielders. Famel Reyes, good, batting in fifth. Pasatino batting second is dumb, as I mentioned. He should be batting middle lineup. Angels, Taylor Ward, a catcher, playing the outfield, and batting leadoff is just still dumb. Ohtani batting second or Trout batting second is dumb when they're the perfect 3-4 combination. Lose the DH when he does the Ohtani stuff. Urshela, if he's not going to be the everyday shortstop and he's not going to play third base or second base, it's kind of insult to put him at first base. I'd rather put Brandon Drury at first base. Rengifo, again, if he's not your everyday shortstop or everyday second baseman, it's silly to put him in the outfield when you have Brandon Phillips to play center field. Brett Phillips, not the second baseman, Brett Phillips. Batting leadoff once is good, but not 5. And I wrote Urshela playing first base twice because it's silly. The Tatis Soto 1 and 2 with Cronenworth batting middle lineup is dumb. The whole thing is Tatis is fine in the leadoff spot, but Soto is a perfect 3-hitter. Cronenworth playing first base, he's not going to give you the offensive production of a first baseman, so why bat him 5th or 6th? And then they gave Machado the day off, and they put Hansan Kim at third base, and they still play Bogarts at shortstop. It's whatever. And then the Diamondbacks, DHing Pavin Smith is the right guy to DH. Gurriel playing first base is dumb. If you're not playing Christian Walker first base, then play Pavin Smith at third base. That's like it makes the most sense there. They lost a DH. Corbin Carroll's a great young exciting player, but he's not a 3-hitter. And Emmanuel Rivera is not a 2-hitter. He's never been a world's greatest hitter. That's why he's on his second or third team. I like Lars Nootbaar playing center field over obviously Tyler Neal. Batting leadoff is fine. O'Neill playing left field in the game and Carlson playing center. That's perfect. Goldie batting second and Gorman batting third. I don't know. I never thought that Nolan Gorman and Alec Burleson are perfect 2-hitters, but Goldschmidt's a perfect 3-4 hitter type of guy. And with Jordan Walker being sent down and they want to play Tyler O'Neill in left field, they move Burleson to right field. I'm getting the observation that he's not a great outfielder. So it's a little bit of stretch there. That's why I don't know what's going to go on there because they have too many outfielders. Mariners, I'm fine with Julio Rodriguez being a table setter, but would be perfect second or third. Because what happens is you bat Pollock fifth one of these days and Kalenic batting third. I'm like, I don't really know. The whole point of having Ty France and having Suarez and Teoscar Hernandez is to be middle-order hitters. And Haggerty playing the outfield with second baseman. Giant. This VR dude, if he was so good at third base to beat out J.D. Davis, now you're playing him at second base, you're playing him at first base. What are you doing with this guy? Just let J.D. Davis play third base every day. Yastrzemski, I'm glad he's getting a lot of at-bats in center field, but he's not a middle-order hitter. Jaron Ruff, I'm glad they got the slugger back, but he's never been a two-hitter. Brandon Crawford should be always batting bottom three, not six. I like with some of the outfield questions they had, Lamonte Wade is back in the outfield for a lot of his starts, but then they can find out by putting him back at first base. Austin Slater, we all know he's an offensive power hitter. He's not a leadoff hitter, and he's not a center fielder. He's a corner guy. And then Conforto, they got to driving runs, not to bat second. And then Estrada is a bond-roller hitter if they're not going to bat him 1 and 2. And the Mets, throwing Jeff McNeil, again, all over the place. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all over the place, having him play right field, left field, when he should be just playing second base every day and batting in the same spot. Cleveland, the whole Rosario batting second and Jimenez batting sixth. I would flip that. One playing shortstop at second base, I would flip that. And then Naylor batting eighth when he's supposed to be your 5 or 4 hitter. And Arias is an infielder that plays like shortstop, second base, third base, not first base. They literally have multiple guys who can play first base. And Miami, Jazz Chisholm, I like him leading off. I don't like him batting sixth because then you get Soler batting, Soler batting second. And Arise batting third, and our Garrett Cooper batting second, which I wrote twice. Those are like middle-order hitters, and Arise should be batting, if not 1, 2, with Jazz at the top. Again, not a center fielder by trade. Don't know why he should be back in the infield. And De La Cruz and this Sanchez dude batting like 3, 4, and 5, and Segura batting 5 and 6 when they should have no business doing that. And then Hampson, I'm glad he's getting opportunity every day to play shortstop, but like, why couldn't the Rockies have done that? And let's get to the White Sox to wrap this up. Luis Robert's been in a huge slump this season. So when a guy's in a huge slump, why is he batting leadoff? If he's not taking walks, he's not getting on base, he's not getting hits, he's striking out a lot, that's not a guy who would bat 1. I also wouldn't bat this guy second either. Okay, I also wouldn't bat Andrew Vaughn second because I would like to have Andrew Vaughn and Eloy Jimenez and Jake Berger right now as your 3 through 5 until Moncada comes back and bumps Berger, supposedly. Like, at this point, if Eloy and Berger and Vaughn are healthy, that's your 3 through 5. Just keep those guys. They know how to hit right now where they are. Okay? If you want to bat Benintendi leadoff, then maybe when you play Romy Gonzalez in the outfield, even though he's no business playing the outfield, or Edwin Sosa or Elvis Andrews, you put one of those guys second. Or you put Elvis Andrews first, which they've done once or twice, and put Benintendi second. Him batting third is okay if you don't have Robert or Vaughn batting second. So Benintendi should only be batting 1 and second most of the time. If he's batting third, I should not see those other guys 1 and 2. Okay? And when you see Eloy in the outfield, I cringe, but at least guess what? He's a natural-born outfielder. He's not a first baseman like Gavin Sheets or an infielder like Romy Gonzalez. Benintendi batting fifth has no purpose in this lineup. There's no point. As I mentioned, Vaughn, Eloy, and Berger should stay in the 3 through 5 spots, and you should figure out between Yasmani Grandal and Luis Robert who's going to bat 6th and who's going to bat 7th. And then whoever doesn't bat at the 1-2 with Benintendi will bat at the bottom. That just makes the most sense out of that. Because, I don't know, the White Sox offense either disappears and the pitching doesn't get any help, or like last night, Dylan Cease just sucks up the joint and they can't score anything. Their bullpen blows games and da-da-da-da-da. It's a disaster. I'm still gonna go to many games this year because I love the White Sox and I get to make up for opportunity not going as a kid, and it's just memories you'll never forget. Thanks for listening to another edition of MLB Observations of the 2023 season for Week 4. For the Radar Table Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.